Hi, everybody. I am a mess.
Oh, Lord.
This
differs from normal how, Felicia?
This is, like, unintentional, like... This is bad. Look at that.
I was going to celebrate Black History Month by coming in blackface, but I didn't think that that would... No, nobody ever lets me do anything.
That might put you in the same category as, like, Mel Gibson.
Whatever.
And, you know, those
Nobody
people.
ever lets me do anything.
We could let you do that, but... Oh, whoa. Hello? Hello?
What do we... What's... Mute things. There we go.
We could let you do that. Why does it unmute when I want to see?
There we go.
Anyway.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Welcome to... I put the sheet down here, and
I don't think I updated that, but it'll
I don't multitask very well.
No. So we're on...
episode...
17.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, this is episode 17.
Yeah.
I ran late and threw something on my face because I was working. But this is your Wednesday night conversation, and this is Let's Have a Fefe, and we have special guest, Laura Fry.
Yeah. Where are our sound effects?
I got the thing running in less than 30 minutes. Calm down.
A live studio audience or something.
See, you want to hold your book? Yes. She wrote this little gem.
Oh my God, Richard!
It only took me 2 days to read.
It is 8 o'clock, Richard, on a Wednesday. Why are you messaging me? Why?
Oh.
Why? Yeah.
You want to keep your personal affairs to a minimum.
Oh, your eyebrows are pretty special.
Yeah, they're not colored in.
Yeah.
That's what's missing.
Something. That's what's missing?
Mm.
Alright. We'll go with that. That's cool. Yeah. Totally.
I think it looks fine.
It's great.
There's one darker. There you go. There we go.
And you're welcome. I am so sorry.
Why? You didn't like my forehead?
Yeah, anyway, what did you do this weekend, Felicia?
I bummed it. I just sat around. I made some posters. Working on yours soon. As we discussed. But if you didn't know, Spotlight's on March 24th. Can you believe it's February already? Jeez.
We're like already almost in the middle of February.
I know, God.
I don't understand.
I feel like as I get older, it just goes...
Like, this year is just like...
Yeah, my daughter is 5, and I feel like she was just born yesterday, so it's a little crazy.
Yeah,
better be careful, they'll be 18 by next week.
I hope not. She already acts like she's a teenager.
Yeah, 5 going on 35.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when they were... And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, can I drive the car? I was like, what?
Oh, she already asked if she can drive.
Oh, you better be careful.
Yeah, she asked me the other day if she could get in the car and drive, if I would let her drive.
Wow. And so it starts.
Damn.
I won't say whether I answered the question yes or no or not.
It's okay.
I mean, things aren't exactly what they used to be, but I used to like drive home from church, like sitting on my dad's lap kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
like
what
from
she
when I
wants
was
to do.
like, I was little. I was like 6 or 7.
But I thought we all did
you know.
that. Is that illegal now?
Yeah.
It was illegal then.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mama. I didn't mean to tell you. I didn't say a word. The cops may just show up at your house.
Where we lived in Michigan was like a tiny little podunk town, so it's like...
Is it still a tiny podunk?
It's still tiny, but now it's a little more...
Civilized?
Well, no. It's still white.
No, not civilized.
Very white.
Oh, so I can't visit.
But it's full of, like, little chic boutiques and antique places.
I could visit to shop, but I can't stay.
Right. And there's like a couple of breweries now and stuff, and there's always been the winery and stuff.
Oh,
you can drink, so you're fine.
But I can't get too drunk because the police might pick me up. Because then I can't stay at the hotel in case I get too drunk.
Right. Yeah.
I can't stay at your house because then they'll be like, what is she doing?
There was one black family.
I
Oh,
might be related to them.
You probably know them.
We all do.
And like the little like sort of community that we lived in, there was like one black family that moved in after I left. So I don't even know if they're still there.
They had to fit the quota. Right. The ginger left, so they had to fit the quota. That's what it was.
Well, my stepmom was,
No,
like
you left. I'm saying you left.
Yeah, but she
left a huge gap.
Only Asian and like.
That's only one minority. Oh my god! And the whole town.
When I went to school, I went to elementary school. There were 2 black kids.
This is not weird.
2 black kids. One of them like was adopted by a white family, and the other one actually had like
no
black
diversity
family.
in your town.
Oh God, no! They're all
not
Swedes.
Even now.
No. They're still old Swedes and Norwegians, and now they're Chicago yuppies.
Yeah, there was none in my town growing up in Pennsylvania.
Like,
I'm pretty sure there was a documentary made on it.
What?
Yeah,
like
the most.
Where the black people at?
Not in Pennsylvania.
It was awkward. It was awkward for me even when I was growing up because, like, we moved back to Michigan after I'd already spent 3 years in Indonesia, almost 2 years.
Oh, so Tunisia. You saw people with color, then you're like.
I spoke like 3 languages, and here are these kids. Like, I had never seen a trailer park in my life, and I'm like, what the hell is I?
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, it was interesting, but yeah, I didn't really do diddly squat this weekend ever either.
So everybody was different colors.
I grew up overseas where
everybody was different colors.
I started mostly feeling better. I ended up going back to Minute Clinic.
Just inviting some
on Saturday to go get better drugs, and they gave me Tessalon pearls, which have helped with the coughing.
Oh my gosh, I love those.
They actually work.
Not like candy.
I'm still like
sorry.
I'm still coughing. Like that's still an issue, but I'm not coughing nearly as much as I was. Except this morning, that was not so fun. Like for about half an hour this morning, like it was hacking and it was weird. So I don't know where that came from. But with the Tessalon, I'm finally not as coughing, which is awesome. And then on Sunday, there was whatever the hell football thing that was happening. We were watching Lord of the Rings.
Can we discuss? I know you saw pictures. Please tell me you saw pictures of this god-awful outfit.
What the hell?
Okay.
His stylist needs to be fired.
We don't really talk entertainment news on here, but I have to stop for a second.
I don't understand.
From the beginning... Justin Timberlake, please stop it. Don't do that again. That was awful.
Is that what he means by going back to his roots? I don't understand that.
So,
what the fuck was that?
Man of the Woods. I listened to the whole album. There's like injection of like, yeah, maybe. But the whole dressing like and then
maybe that's how they dress in Tennessee.
I have some friends that live in Tennessee, and I don't think they dress like that.
I don't know what that
white or black. I don't know, but But as soon as he started, I was like, "What is this?" Like I thought he was gonna like come down with a country tune, and it was like R&B, and then I was like, "I'm so confused."
I haven't even watched it on YouTube. I didn't watch it. At all.
Oh my god! Don't do it.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
I didn't watch it at all. Nope.
And then...
Not at all.
He went to sing Suit and Tie, which I'm a fan of that song. Most people are. But then, instead of taking off the camouflage suit, the camouflage suit got worse. And it had a jacket. It was just a vest at first with, like, weird painting on it of mountains.
Which was actually... It was a Bob Ross painting.
I thought it was wood.
It was a Bob Ross painting.
But still, it's
yeah, it was not.
And
like,
but you know what's scary?
Bob Ross is probably turning in his grave.
Oh. I want to know how many Kings are gonna rock something that awful at Nationals.
Oh,
I've already seen camo suits.
I mean, I don't have a problem with camo suits. I don't have a problem with camouflage or whatever the hell it is.
I'm waiting. Somebody's gonna pull that out. I'm waiting for it.
I didn't really enjoy the show because it felt like he was just singing all of his hits and throwing them all together. And then you had Prinze floating up here, and you couldn't really understand Prince. You couldn't really hear him.
Why? Why did he...
Because they were in Minneapolis.
Yeah, he sang with Prince.
There was a lot of Prince tributes throughout the Super Bowl. But he had this... At first he was going to have a hologram.
I know, and he got backlash because... Prinze actually said, "Fuck no." Before he died,
Yes.
he was like, "Absolutely not. I would never give anybody permission to do that."
So, he was on a sheet and singing, which
That's
is
classy.
weird. And then, so, it didn't end that well. By the end of it, I was like, am I still a fan? Do I like your music? I feel like, I was talking to somebody today, and I feel like he's got such a, and I'm going to say this, he's got such a black audience that I'm thinking he's trying to, like, lasso.
Not anymore, he doesn't.
Lasso the white people into his music. He's like,
No.
Hey
His
guys.
audience is,
Hey
no,
guys.
his audience has always been primarily white, not black.
But what is this country thing? It doesn't even,
It's not even country. It's
or hickish.
I was
I
gonna
don't know,
say
whatever.
Like hickish, yeah.
It's
He's trying to appeal to the.
I mean, but there's
something.
nothing on the album that leads itself to make you believe that he's trying out country instead of
Just the title.
R&B.
Right.
The
Other
title
than
and
the
the
title.
clothes. And the clothes.
Well, yeah,
and him
then,
walking through the woods or
and then
some
there's
shit. Like,
there's
and then,
one
like,
song that's like it's the man of the woods, but then you're like that doesn't relate to this.
I heard a clip of that, and I was like, "What is this?"
I would play it,
It's
but
dumb.
then YouTube likes to take our stuff down. And
That's
Facebook
stupid.
is killer about
Right.
copyright.
Yeah, no, we're
No.
good.
Just don't.
It's not.
deal with
I
that.
don't care. Yeah, it's
But I'm like, God, what did we just watch? I felt like,
yeah, like I said, I didn't even watch.
and
any
for
YouTube.
those that keep asking, where was Janet? She was on tour. She's making money.
She was busy.
She looks fucking great, even for having a baby at 50. So I think she has better things to do. She
I'm
said
sure she does.
flat out.
Probably like, yeah, no.
She
Yeah,
said,
you know, bullshit. So feeling mostly better. Watched Lord of the Rings, which funny, you know how the Eagles come in and save the day in the Lord of the
Mhm.
Rings. I thought that was an interesting sort of
Oh, so it was you.
parallel.
So every time that the Eagles are playing the Super Bowl, I'll tell you to watch
Watch
Lord of the Rings.
because
I'll watch a,
whether it's the
horrible
Hobbit or
halftime show.
freaking Lord of the Rings, it's
And that's our-
Halftime show.
and that's our
Right.
sacrifice.
There we go.
For the team.
There you go.
And that's how
That's-
we get people to.
And then last night, right as I was about to head to BS West, my laptop died. Which is really awesome because all my things are on my laptop, like all my music for like Ohio and Spotlight
And your
and
porn.
things. And my porn, god damn it. It's awful. It's awful.
Mhm.
And then last night, so I actually told Naomi I was going to talk about it today. Last
for
night
it.
I went to BS West. So I was actually going to be. She asked me to be a judge.
Oh, you judging people out loud?
Yeah. For this season of The Next Big Star, or whatever it is that they're calling it.
Ooh.
And interestingly enough, the only person that showed up was Dustin.
Hmm?
Right. Which I thought was interesting, and we were kind of discussing and kind of, you know, we're trying to figure out, well, why. And I'm wondering if last season didn't kind of put a sour taste in folks' mouths because of the stuff that we had talked about.
But it wasn't because of us.
No, it wasn't because of us. But they're actually, Naomi's changing it up this season. So what's going to happen on the finale is, yes, the audience votes count, but they're doing it a little bit differently. So what it's going to be is basically like, say, whoever gets the most audience votes gets like 20 points. The next one down gets 15 points.
I see.
So it's going to be a combination of that and the judges that are going to win. So even if you're awesome, you actually still have a chance to win, and it doesn't come down to you bring all your friends that can blow $500 at a bar.
It's a drag show.
It's a competition.
A variety competition.
And
Got
the
it.
way that it was being done last season is basically it was whoever
That's how
could
it's
spend
always
the.
been, though.
I know it was whoever could spend the most money at the bar, because
how did spending money impact?
you buy a drink, you get a vote.
Oh.
Right. So
All of a sudden, Laura wants
if
to be
you
at the
have
bar.
right, so
No,
if you
no.
have like. If you have, it wasn't really equitable the way it was being done, because
Got
you
it.
had performers that really didn't put in the effort but they didn't need to because they knew that they were going to have all their friends there, and their friends were going to drop $200, so they were going to win by a landslide no matter what happened. Meanwhile, the people that probably should have won didn't stand a chance because it's a Tuesday night and broke. Well, even then, I'm not going to spend fucking $200 at a bar. Not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know how to justify that to my partner.
Like, it's not going to happen, so
Right.
they, after, some sort of, some backlash from some of the contestants and some of the folks watching, including myself, because I was like, this isn't a competition, it's just a popularity. No, it's a popularity contest. It's whoever can bring the most people in that can spend the most money.
Right.
They decided to change it up this season. However, I said, went last night, and the only person that showed up was Dustin. So we're hoping that next week there's a few more people, but we'll see. And I'm wondering if part of it is because last season it was really sort of like, there's no way I wouldn't stand a chance because I don't have the money and my friends don't have the money, and you know what I mean? So it didn't really...
If you know you're broke.
Right. So we shall see. I'm hoping that, more folks... You should come out, Felicia.
And what? And compete?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
No. You know my schedule.
You know my schedule.
Why? I cannot add anything else to my schedule. I'm barely functioning. Me and staying up late during the week has surpassed this. This body. I can stay up past 10 at home, but when I'm out, I'm like,
9 o'clock hits and I'm like,
Oh, it's not bedtime? Oh, shit. Oh, where are we going now?
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh. And if we stand around like how I stood around the last time, I would...
Starting an hour late? If I can help it. Not if I can
I would be switching things around. I would be like, come on, guys. Let's go.
Yeah. So, my tip this evening...
Oh, God.
Isn't really a tip. It's more of a discussion
point. It's
point.
A lifestyle.
It is sort of, but it's more of a discussion point than anything, I think.
Hashtag be safe out.
Actually, well, because we've both been involved with various safe out things and whatever. This is actually something that is an actual issue within the LGBTQ community, and everybody knows that the community at large has problems with alcohol. Just in general. Like, we have more problems with alcohol than probably any other community or minority. Like,
it's actually been scientifically proven.
Bad. And due to a recent article that was posted and that has been shared amongst various people, and I'm not going to get into details of it because it's neither here nor there, but seeing people post it and then the comments that are subsequently posted on this article,
weren't like that. They were like this.
It was all over the place.
Like when somebody stole somebody's talent at National.
And this article isn't the first time this has been a thing, but it's just a reminder that this is a thing. And for some reason,
it just scares me.
For some reason, this community has a tendency to the LGBTQ community. I don't care if you are gay or a lesbian or trans or a gay trans man or a lesbian trans. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Non-binary.
This community, as a collective whole, doesn't seem to understand that things like alcohol abuse is a real thing and that DUIs are not okay.
And consequences.
Like, they're not okay.
For all of those people.
Right up there with things like rape apologists, we have a tendency to laugh off the fact
that... What did you say? Did you say rape apologists?
Yes, I did. I said
We'll come back to that when you're done.
I said right up there with rape apologists, we have a tendency to dismiss things like driving under the influence. We have a tendency to laugh off the fact that people can't go and do anything without either getting high or drunk. We're just like, whatever.
I have a little bit... There is a man, and I believe he's straight, that he's still sitting in jail. That he had like 4 DUIs and he's actually killed someone, went to jail for a while, and has had brutal, like, cars a mess. Like, you can't recognize what kind of car, make, model it is, this car. So I think, in general, as a society, we have this huge, you have to get together, we have to go to your house, and we have to have drinks. We get together, it becomes a social thing, and then some people float outside of that social bubble, and then they don't know their limits, or they know their limits, and then they go, oh, I'll be fine.
People don't seem to realize that you don't have to drink to get wasted every time.
Yes.
Or you don't have to drink, period.
You don't have to drink.
Have a social,
right.
socialize.
Just to socialize.
I don't drink.
I remember a few years back when I was performing at Club Vibe.
Oh.
And we're coming out of the bar, and there's a dude sitting in his car trying to get somebody else to blow into the ignition lock so that he could drive home.
But that's why they put it
I'm
in
like,
there.
Really?
No, but I thought you had to blow into those periodically as you were driving.
Depending on how far you have to go.
Oh.
So, like, if he was relatively close, but, you know, I'm like, you're a dumbass. Did it not occur to you? That's why it's there in the first place. You have an ignition lock because you're a dumbass and drove drunk.
You right.
There was also an incident a few years back where a certain drag king got a DUI.
Ooh.
And this, I thought, was outrageous because he was all, anybody that knows me knows that I don't drive drunk. And I'm thinking to myself, really? Because we've all seen you come staggering out of the bar and get into a car. I've seen it. Everybody's seen it. But he started a GoFundMe to pay for his, like, tickets and all this shit. And people actually gave him money. Like, do you guys understand that driving under the influence is not a victimless crime? Like, people seem to throw the term victim is crime. It's not a victimless crime. You are driving drunk. You run the risk of not only injuring yourself, you could injure somebody else, you could kill somebody else, but what? Like, nobody seems to care. And Arizona is a zero-tolerance state when it comes to DUIs. Anybody that drives, anybody that drinks, anybody that is of drinking age knows this.
Doesn't, if you blow any amount of alcohol, you automatically get a ticket?
They can give you a ticket.
Right, for any amount. Right, exactly.
And obviously the higher you blow, obviously, the worse it's gonna be.
Isn't there somebody trying to fight the DUI laws?
They're always trying to fight the DUI laws.
Like, it should be like a percentage lower or something like that.
I don't know.
I think I read that.
There are very few things that I have a zero tolerance for.
Driving, posted about
while
this,
drinking.
You posted about being sloppy and drunk.
I am not a fan of people that are constantly drinking to get drunk. And I'm not a fan of people that drink and drive or anything like that. Like, seriously, like, how fucking selfish are you? And if you get pulled over when you leave a bar and you get pulled over because you've been drinking and you just left a bar, I have zero sympathy for what happens to you after that.
Well,
none.
Especially in this day and age when we have Uber and Lyft.
Seriously.
When we
and
have
it's
options.
not that expensive.
When we have options.
God. If I could take it from Mesa to Phoenix, you
I
could take
guarantee
it down the road from where you live.
And if your friends were really your friends,
they would drive you.
Somebody would drive you home.
Right.
I've tried to stop some people. I don't have a car, but I mean, I do have a car, but I don't drive. But they just refuse. I've seen people just go like, you know, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And I'm like, okay, girl, all right. And some of those people have gotten DUIs. I'm not one to say I told you so, but I know when I get to a point, I'm like, oh, I feel uncomfortable. I'm gonna stop now. So
I'm like, I absolutely have zero tolerance, and I have zero sympathy. I don't give a fuck. If you leave a bar and you get into your car after you've been drinking, if you get pulled over, sorry, not sorry. I don't care. I don't care what the circumstances are. That's one of the most irresponsible things that you can do. Yeah, Des says that they want to make it 0.5. It's 0.8 now. So, or 0.08, yeah.
I doubt, the likelihood of that passing in Arizona, though, is probably very...
And they
I don't understand why so much within this community focuses around alcohol. And it does, in like the straight community and stuff as well.
I was going to say, do you think it's just this community? Because if you go to a baseball game or a basketball game or a hockey game or...
Everything is sponsored by alcohol. Everything, all the gay events are all about alcohol. They're all sponsored by alcohol companies. But there's something within this community. Like, yes, it's... Straight people drink, straight people get drunk, whatever. But there's something within this community... And it's been proven, they've done research on this, where with the drinking and the drugs...
Oh, that's what it was. There was a higher percentage of people, and the statistic that you're talking about is like we drink as a whole, like we surround ourselves with it. And then it becomes like this bigger thing, because that's what Safe Out was. It was more of like to get all of that, like the drugs, the...
Right. Because I have no problem with people drinking.
Me either.
Drink, whatever.
I drink.
But...
Just don't drive.
Seriously, like...
Well, and people need to be... Even if I'm one, I learned my lesson the hard way. But you get to a certain age, and some of these people are old enough that they should be...
Like, okay, seriously, you're like 40-something at the bar getting trashed every weekend.
Worrying about your retirement.
Like...
Worrying about your retirement.
Like,
go back to school or something.
I just, like, every post I see on, like, my feed has something to do with alcohol. Literally, it's like everything. And whether it's somebody complaining that they got wasted the night before, or somebody saying that they're going to go get wasted,
do that again.
Or, like, something. There's always something. And it's like, is nobody capable of doing anything that doesn't involve alcohol? Like, I very rarely drink. How often do you see me drink? Like, once a year on my birthday, maybe? Like,
I don't count, because you don't ever...
And I still manage to go and still manage to have a good time, and I don't...
For me, it's just I don't know. It's a social thing. I don't know. But I don't... The only time I drink really heavy now is, like, when I'm at home.
I don't even do that. I'm like,
and by the time... If I have plans to drink heavy, by the time I get to it, I've gotten to the age where I fall asleep before I actually finish.
Right, that's the thing. 2 drinks in or whatever, and I'm like,
oh my god. Okay, good night.
It's bedtime. Yeah, like so. I don't know. And for some reason, like I said, people seem to make light of it. They're like, oh well, I've had a DUI. Oh, what do you want? A cookie? You want a pat on the back? What do you want?
Wait,
like,
can we not brag about DUIs?
That's not something to just be like, oh yeah, well I've had one of those. That's like, yeah, I've had my appendix out.
Oh.
Not a, you know what I mean? Like it's not something to just kind of be flippant about. Mm-hmm. You have a DUI, which means that you put your life and somebody else's life in danger because you got behind the wheel of a car when you were drinking.
Exactly.
I just think that this community just needs to rethink its priorities because...
Well, not just the Phoenix one.
I'm just in general, but particularly being in a state that is a zero tolerance state. Like...
And they already don't really support our rights anyway, so...
I ain't gonna add insult to injury. Like,
paying attention to all this circle right here. We just need them to not look over here.
Seriously, just think about
now
what you're
we're about
doing.
to have more looking over this way, and they're not like coming to shows. They're
right. Let's not draw the wrong kind of attention. Like we're already fighting for whatever rights that we're grasping to hold on to, and we don't need the added bad press of, well, let's look at the statistics with the gays and the DUIs and things like that. And that's because they're all irresponsible, blah, 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 blah. Because We don't
and
really
they'll
have
throw in there something, like we do something to animals or
right. And frankly, we don't. That's always
no.
when it's on. That's where it goes.
Right? They're like, oh
gay
my
marriage
god,
equals
oh my god, gay
goat.
marriage. Now they're gonna be marrying sheep. What?
Right.
What happened? I just want to
saying,
marry somebody else.
If we have the bad press where it comes to this community being irresponsible and basically a public danger, we don't have the statistics to be able to say that's not true.
Whoops.
Because of the drug use, the alcohol abuse, all that good stuff that happens within this community, we don't have the statistics to say that's not true.
But we're smart enough people, we should be able to.
You would think so. But
we have a higher gross income than
until
straight
people realize that you don't
true.
have to constantly get trashed and do stupid shit. So, I'm just saying. So, I don't know. If y'all are thinking about drinking, maybe think about, I don't know, Uber, Lyft,
Hi, Tammy.
a friend, not drinking. I don't know. Just be smarter. And if you do something like drink and then do something stupid like get behind the wheel, consequences for your actions, they're actually a thing. And you can't really bitch about it. You can't complain. You can't be like, oh my god, I got...
Consequences are earned.
Zero sympathy. You can do whatever the hell you want. It's a free country. You can do whatever the hell you want. But there will be consequences.
But you may not be able to stay.
Just saying.
I said it.
Just saying.
I did.
Yeah. I have no sympathy for consequences that come from doing stupid shit like that. Just saying. So, yeah.
Okay, so back to rapist apologists.
Rape apologists, yes.
What is that?
Those are the people that, when, the judge sentenced what's-his-nuts that had like 150 counts of rape or whatever against him.
Oh, the doctor?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, no, you can't be mean to him.
Really?
That's a rape apologist. The people that are like, well...
Bitch, boys.
He's a good boy. He was a swimmer, and we should probably, lessen his sentence so that, we make sure
so
that...
he can get out and go to the Olympics in 2020.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rape apologist.
I think I deleted somebody like this.
I've deleted a few people like that. I'm like...
I mean, I don't delete people. I love everyone.
Well, you don't delete enough people, obviously.
I deleted people recently. Yes, so I can let some more people in.
Oh, well, that's good.
Some less mean people.
Less mean people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I deleted a Trump supporter because one decided to speak, and I was like, you haven't said anything this far, and then you want to say something now? Delete.
No, we're gone.
Delete. I don't accept this.
But thank you. Yeah.
No talking.
You were silent during the whole time. That was working out great between you and I. Then you said something really stupid. I gotta...
Goodbye.
They probably don't even know I deleted them.
You're
They're
fired.
probably watching right now and thinking...
You're fired.
Did she delete me?
Right? They're like, go back.
Going back through, scrolling through search.
Would you like to introduce our special guest?
I did already.
Okay, well, do you want to do it properly?
Oh, you mean like the way we should be doing it? Like if this was a proper show? Oh my god. So, we have Laura here, who is the author of Mama's New Friend. Now, wait, before you go through this?
I'm waiting.
Before you go through this.
Yes?
We had... Okay, so...
We started controversy around your book.
We were flipping through this. It was funny, because we were flipping through this and we're like, what the hell? We're like, wait a minute. How many friends does Mama have? Because...
Mama has one friend.
No, we made up. Mama got more than one friend.
We don't judge. Mama can have as many friends as Mama wants. We're not mad. But so...
Mama has an ex.
So, we were really confused, because we're sitting here and we're like, okay, this is good, flipping through, whatever, yeah, that's great, blah, 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 blah. And then we're like, wait a minute.
What
That's not who that bitch is. And we're like, no, that's not. Who the hell that?
See, I was like,
no. Who is that? That's not Mama's new friend. That's Mama's other new friend.
I said, part 2 of the book is coming. Part 2 of the book is coming.
You always have to leave room for a sequel.
Right.
So, yeah.
So it took us a minute, and then we're like going through this, and we're like, wait. Okay, and then we see this, and we're like, okay, there's that.
And then I read it again, and I was like,
right.
oh.
I was so confused for a minute. I was like,
ooh.
Did somebody miss that?
I was like, Laura got some freaky
stuff
going on in her children's book.
I was like, it's cool. Mama can have as many new friends as she wants. Mama can have a whole
I was like,
gaggle of new friends. We're
Mama's
good.
on that Craigslist. And she just, let's go, honey.
I was like, we're like,
Mama has 2 friends.
Mama has at least 2 friends. Mama's busy. That's
good catch.
That confuses us sometimes.
So, since we created controversy around your book, why don't you tell people what it's really about?
So this is based on reality. So I'm separated from my ex, and I wanted to have a story to tell my daughter about our situation, because I read books to her and explain things in life to her.
As you get older, the books are going to get more complex.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah, and, Jesus.
Yeah. So
him too.
Yeah. Oh, we already talked about that, but she calls God a she, so that's a whole nother.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother story. So there wasn't a book that existed that said my 2 lesbian moms have separated and my mom has a new friend. So I wrote this book in anticipation of someday me meeting somebody, but fortunately my ex met somebody before me. So
the shade.
No, she's wonderful. So so I wrote this anticipation that I would be meeting somebody.
Oops.
I mean, we can set you up real quick.
Right?
Hold on.
We got speed dating happening. Hey.
No, I've actually met somebody now. I've met somebody.
Oh, so fuck me then, huh?
Never mind. Okay. Whatever. It's fine.
All right. I was trying to help.
No, thank you, though. So I wrote this, and
did you illustrate this too?
No, but I actually drew. I actually identified, described the scenes and worked with an illustrator to
I was going to say,
identify all the scenes. No, everybody asked me that though, so I'm a writer, not an illustrator. So,
I don't know your life. I just thought
I could have illustrated.
She sent me the book, and she just
stick figures with gout. I don't know.
Yeah, that's basically what I had to do.
Oh my God,
stick figures with gout.
That's horrible.
I don't draw people.
Oh. I'm not getting into this. This is about Laura. So this just came out in August,
yes.
right?
Came out in August.
And people can get this on Amazon?
They can get it on Amazon. It's available in soft copy or on Kindle. So you can go to Kindle and download it right now and read it on your Kindle or your e-reader.
It's so easy these days.
Yeah.
Mom, can you download a book for me?
Yep. So
I just love paper, though.
I know. I still love the old school books, but there's sometimes
I love the smell of a book.
I have a tendency to read 5 books at a time, so my Kindle comes in handy because I can't carry often 5 books with me.
Yeah.
So I just have 50 on my Kindle.
It's also for sale in Tucson at 2 different bookstores.
Is it at
Revolutionary Grounds and Antigone Books?
Antigone, that's
yeah.
Okay. So I did see it on Google. Do you know that it's on Google?
No.
Well, surprise. It's on
Google. Hey.
It's also on Google.
I can review it on Google. It's
awesome.
on Google Books.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's also on Goodreads as well.
Mm-hmm. I saw that too. I was in your business a little bit.
It's also for sale on my website, mamasnewfriendbook.com. So.
Now, so your daughter is how old?
She's 5.
Okay, so she's 5, and you wrote this sort of in anticipation that, right.
Was this your first book?
I actually have a autobiography that I never published, that I just kept for myself. So,
interesting.
We're going to have to read that
now,
book later.
No. What's, so, you wrote this for, basically, a kid around her age that might be going through, similar sort of situation. As she gets older, or, in general, as kids get older, because you said there wasn't a book that dealt with this specific topic. So as she gets older, as things kind of, move along or whatever with whatever, do you see yourself writing any other different types of books or, things like that to either for situations that might come up in her life or situations that might come up in another kid's life?
Absolutely, absolutely. So first of all, this applies to anybody, any child of divorce. I sold this at the Tucson Pride Festival and as well as the Rainbows Festival, and I had parents of kids as well as kids up to their teenage years buying this book.
Nice.
So any child that is has their parent that's meeting a new person, this is applicable to. So
unless your dad marries the nanny, then you have.
Well, I didn't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah. So this is. This is applicable to any child that their parent is meeting a new friend. I had a lot of gay couples buying this for nieces and nephews. I had a lot of lesbian moms buying it for their children. So there was a variety of age ranges, not just my daughter's age.
So this is the first book of this type, but are there any other like I don't know what to say, but like LGBT parent type like kids, you know what I'm saying? Like
there's a couple out there.
Yeah, so there's a compilation of books. There's about one woman put together a list of about 35 really popular good lesbian and gay, bisexual, transgender, good books for like our community to read to their children.
Okay.
So to add diversity and so kids could see, their family structure. But there was nothing specifically where I could read to my daughter and say, yeah, mommy and mama are no longer together, but we still love each other and we're still a family and we're no longer together, but there's this new person coming around and it's okay for you to like them. And, even if it's hard for you at first,
I think that's the thing that some people don't understand too, is that it could be hard, especially at a young age.
And that's what I tried to emphasize in here, that you can see her going through the struggle, that, it's hard for her to...
Hashtag the struggle is real.
The struggle is real, yeah. So it's that she's still acknowledging that we're still a family and that she still loves her mommy. I'm mama. My ex is mommy. That this other person is not replacing either of us. That
it's good that you point that out. I know that Freddy asked you, but like, is there going to be a sequel?
Well, I mean, I really wrote this just for my daughter. I had no intention of
You published a book
just for my daughter. Yeah, I had no intention of creating a website. I had no intention of going to the
now you need to go into story time, because you need to tell us how did it grow from being this idea for your daughter to a book that is now sitting right here in front of us and on sale on like 6 websites, and you've sold it at fairs and festivals.
Well,
in the short amount of time.
So last spring, after my ex had told me that she had moved in with her partner, after I had realized that, I knew that I was going to be dating soon. And so I realized I had to get something together quickly for my daughter. So I started looking into the options of how do you write a book? How do I put a book together quickly?
Isn't the internet beautiful?
And so I realized I could self-publish a book, and I fell upon this publishing company, Author House. And as part of the package, they offer marketing services, etc. Now, the cost to publish this book was way more expensive than I had even anticipated.
Your daughter better be appreciative.
Right.
So
add that to her bill when she turns 18.
So I obviously turned them down and said, no, I'm not going to market this. I'm not going to do this. But then what I realized was there was a lot of people that said, especially the marketing company said, there's lots of...
You know why they said that?
Well,
Because
of course.
They're marketing people.
Yeah,
Right.
but there's lots of gay and lesbian people that have new partners that they're introducing to their kids, and there's lots of divorced families.
I could have used that book about 12 years ago.
You know how many times I've heard that? So I was like, all right, so, why not take it to Tucson Pride? Why not, order a few copies myself, and why not take it to the Rainbows Festival? So I just did it on a whim.
Wow.
I think that's fantastic.
This whim turned into a success. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
When with my partner, her daughter is 8. She'll be 9 this year.
Yeah.
And they've been she and her ex-husband have been divorced for. They got divorced when Fefe was like 2.
Oh,
wow.
So
yeah.
Penelope doesn't even remember them really being together.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when she talks about her dad. She doesn't talk about him. She doesn't say like, "Oh well, Dad does this." She always says, "My dad,"
Yeah.
which is it's like a weird.
Oh, like a disconnect.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're essentially in her mind they're almost like 2 completely separate people that just happen to have had a baby.
Yeah.
And I'm her my partner's sort of first serious relationship after being divorced. Like she's had a few relationships here and there or whatever, but I'm the first sort of big serious
one, yeah.
And interestingly, it was we spent time together, and I when we first started dating, it took a little while, and then I met her daughter, and so it wasn't like an immediate.
God, those are the worst.
Right, but it was like it wasn't a it was more of a this is mom's friend, so it wasn't like
that's
right, so
exactly
it wasn't
how you do it.
Right,
Yep.
it wasn't like anything a big deal about it. It was like it was another
Mommy's
new
getting
friend.
married next week.
Right. And
Trigger.
it was last year after we'd probably been together maybe about a year or so, and that was when her daughter said something about it's almost like she has 2 daddies.
Yeah, it's usually the kids
Right.
that will say something first.
Right,
Yeah.
and and that was before because we're actually getting married this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Cute. But that was before that was even really discussed. Like it was, and it was like, okay. So yeah, I mean it's
the first time I heard our daughters say they have 2 dads, I cried.
Aww.
I cried like a bitch.
Well, what's interesting
Because you're like, oh my god, what? They like
well,
you?
see, what's interesting is I'm still dealing with the bullshit from my last relationship when it came to kids. When it came to kids.
Oh.
I wasn't really allowed to do anything, say anything, have no part in any sort of parenting with my ex and her kids. We were together for 5 years.
Oh wow!
I
you
met
still
her.
involved?
No, her youngest when I met him was 8.
Oh.
I was through.
So you were
8
through the
right,
13.
right,
Wow.
and like I was never really anything.
Including
So
decisions.
right, there was nothing. I wasn't even allowed to go to their piano recitals.
What?
Yeah, it was
weird.
really weird.
Wow.
Like I was not allowed to go to the piano recitals. Baby daddy could bring his new whatever the person was
Sluttiness.
that he was fucking at the time, but
Sorry,
we'd
that
been
came out on
together
accident.
for multiple years, and I still
Right.
wasn't allowed to go to piano recitals.
Aw.
So for me, I'm still like I guess I'm still sort of suffering from sort of a like kind of a PTSD almost. Like
Yeah, just like
you're
how
trying to protect
how
that little baby heart.
right, because it's like. Well, it's not even that. It's more my own self because you get
That's
it,
what I mean. You're
right.
baby
You
heart.
get you
You're
get
like,
attached.
oh, babe.
Right. So it's like it's one of these things where so it's still weird
I
because
love you.
everything she does is all about family and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like that's why we have the chore chart. That's why we have all these things, and for to be in a situation now where my partner says, oh, we are a family. It's
Yeah.
like.
It's kind of new for you.
It's weird. It's sort of a
yeah.
So I'm it's like I'm really gung ho, but I'm also really hesitant.
There you go.
Aw.
It's an interesting sort of dynamic, but
That's a neat story.
it's we haven't dealt with the we haven't dealt with
Want to
the
write a book?
You wanna-
well then there's the trans issue, which we haven't dealt with yet. That we're waiting for the inevitable time when we think she's asleep and I run out to grab something out of the cupboard in the hall and she comes out. We're waiting for that. Because
that don't look right.
then the questions are going to pop up.
You think she has that question now?
I don't think so, because there hasn't been...
It have to be, like, older.
She's smart. She's very...
And I'm not doubting that she is
extraordinarily smart.
I met the girl. Though she can't tell
actually,
me in and out of drag.
No, she has no idea who you are ever. You have to wear a name tag. So that's like, we know that question's going to pop up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we're eventually planning on having at least one kid ourselves.
Yeah.
So we need to, because with...
That's awesome.
So with that, like, we've actually talked about putting together, like, a baby book for myself, but a transition type of baby book.
Oh, so cute.
So it's like,
I feel a book coming.
That's awesome, yeah.
But it's like, how do we...
I can write a book.
Right?
Yeah,
there you go.
That's
so
awesome.
it's like... But it's one of these things... I'm actually surprised that she hasn't said anything about my scars. Because she'll flat out say something if she thinks...
What's that?
Like, right. But she hasn't asked, apparently.
Well, the thing that I've learned is honesty is the best thing for children. So my daughter is adopted, and since day one, since she was born, I talk about the fact that she was born in her birth mom's tummy, that she was born, in another state, that, Mama was in the hospital with her, that, and so she talks about it all the time. She just said the other day, I've never said to her specifically that she has a sister, but just, so her birth mother had a child before she was born, and then just 2 days ago, she asked me, she's like, Mama, I really want a twinsy. I want you to have a baby so I can have a sister. And I said, well, do you remember that your birth mom already had a child before you were born? She goes, oh, that's right. I have a sister. So, I mean, she's very intuitive and she's very
kids are
yeah,
smart, and generally they don't care.
She goes, oh, that's right. I have a big sister.
Well, they don't have the bias that we've built up.
Right. They don't have the judgment that we do.
They don't go, oh, God, why was I adopted? They don't do any of that. They got the... Oh, that's so cool.
And her next question was like, "Oh, great! When can we see them?" So. Was
it an open adoption?
Yeah, it's open. So we.
Do you write letters and stuff?
Yeah, we talk. They do video chats.
That's awesome. I forgot we're in the 21st century.
Yeah. Right. Letters. Who writes
we do
letters?
Video chats. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. So.
How old am I?
Right.
I'm only 21.
Well, I think we all are.
Sure. Yes, I'm beautiful.
But I think that's great, and like I.
Are you gonna write a book now too?
I wouldn't even know it. I'd be like,
Daddy's drag queen friend.
Girl.
Or Mama's drag king friend.
I don't even think that would be the... My stepdaddy gender fucks. Like, what do you she sees me in makeup and heels with a glitter beard, and you know what I mean? Like,
this one might have to be a chapter book.
Right?
Start
I don't know,
somewhere and meet somewhere.
You start very simple. Like, everybody's different, but we're all the same. Like,
This is brainstorming. You see it happening.
Everybody's different, but we're all the same.
If you see all three of our names on a book.
Right. What I think is awesome, though, is that, particularly within the LGBTQ community, is that kids that are usually raised within that community generally grow up far less judgmental. They become
absolutely,
because they're around and they're exposed to all sorts of different people all the time,
and their minds are so open.
Yeah,
and they just like we're trying to teach her that nudity is not inherently sexual, and you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, I have a book for Emery that's called Ella Has Two Dads. I mean, and we read that, and we read about how Ella has a difficulty deciding on who to take for Mother's Day. So she has to take her dad's and then her aunt's to Mother's Day. And so then I paralleled that and say, like, just like on Father's Day, you're going to take your mama and your mommy, you know, and your
that's too cute.
and your grandpa and your papa, you
That's
know.
awesome.
I mean, I use books to, you know, convey different life messages to
Well,
her.
I'm glad that books are still staying alive.
I should look and see what's out there and see if there's anything that would be relevant.
Remember, like, the turn of the century, everybody was like, books are dying.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Oh.
I like
What?
reading. What are you doing?
We have to be a little more cautious as to what we say and what we tell her, only because we know that whatever we tell her is going to get back to Dad.
Oh.
So
you have the Travel Channel.
Uh-huh.
That's what I call it.
Right. So it's one of these things we're not sure. You know what I mean? And it's one of these sort of.
You want me to write the book for you?
Right.
Is that what happened?
It's you know, because it's not like I'm not in the closet. I don't.
Oh, you know what?
But
I have Jazz's book
we also
in
don't
here
necessarily
somewhere.
disclose to everybody everything.
Yeah,
I don't have
right.
trans tattooed across my forehead.
Oh, not yet?
Not yet.
Oh.
No, that's my next tattoo. That's got first.
No,
I'm
you have to finish your back first.
I have to get my teardrop first, and then
And then the 3 dots.
And
Right.
then-
You killed 3 people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Just 3?
Just 3.
Okay.
You know, so we have to kind of
Yeah.
weigh that too, because
Right, got it.
you know, God knows that people are stupid. So it's like
That you have a different
right
territory you have to tread.
right.
Lightly.
He,
Got
he
it.
probably
yeah.
wouldn't care, but you never know, and you never know when it comes to
sorry.
you know, parental dynamics, what
right.
can be
Yeah.
tossed out and what can be, you know, twisted and
Right.
So once upon a time, I had to teach like kindergarten kids about STDs.
No.
the fuck.
What?
It was like
Huh?
it was
That
a
young?
community initiative, and it was from like 5 to like their teenage years. And I looked at the person in charge. I said, "Are you sure? I don't even like talking like what?" And so basically, you know how like you describe germs.
Right.
Oh, right.
You don't
right.
get into like the whole how you get them. You just kind of skirt, just like you say, "Mommy's tummy."
Yeah.
You don't say how that happened in mommy's tummy. You just kind of skirt around, and then they kind of go, "Oh, like germs," and you're like,
Yeah. You don't want to get the germs.
It's like a
"Try that." It's the most uncomfortable thing that I've
Teaching
ever.
5-year-olds about
STDs.
And I thought,
What the hell?
"Oh, this is a joke, right?" No, this is what we're. Oh.
What the hell?
That sounds like a fun thing to do.
I'll explain it later.
That's bizarre.
But it made me so uncomfortable. I was like, I need teenagers. My
Or
thing
junior
is
high
teenagers.
at least, something like.
Where you
Get me up here where they understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, and they don't go, "Ew, kissing boy."
Right.
You know? But see, this is good. Mommy's gonna become a best-selling author, and you're welcome.
What other books do you think you have in the works? Like what do you
Is there anything?
what's
Is there?
rustling
I'm not
around in
sure.
your head there?
I'm not sure. I think it's just
We're giving you juju.
I think it really depends on what's going on in our life and what's you know she's confronting and you know where we're at.
Have you
I
thought
have a
about
suggestion.
one
Sure.
like that has to do with
Mama was on Let's Have a Fefe.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's followed after, you know, Mama goes to a swingers club or something
Oh,
along those lines.
no,
No.
Jeez, where's this book series going?
Whatever.
We will start our own.
Right. Well, right. We'll just right. It's
And
fine.
Laura will be like,
I could just be your hired author. Oh,
No,
yeah.
we'll just say what we think should happen, and then you consult with the illustrator,
Yeah.
Right.
and then I'll go, "No, he's supposed to be swinging."
Right.
Swinging.
That's the wrong kind of swing.
No, not
Wrong
like a
kind of
childhood swing.
Different type of
sweetie.
swing. This one has
Erase
stirrups.
that.
Stirrups. It's stirrups.
Why are the lights on in here?
Right. No. We have to cut all this
Mm-mm.
out. This is too bright. What is this? All of this needs to go, and there needs to be more stuff on the floor.
And when I said boots, they were all the way up. All the way.
Could you I'm thinking in my head, and I'm thinking possibly one that could have to do with potentially juggling, like birth mother and that.
Yeah.
That, and then.
Yeah, I could do
I'm
something
adopted.
about. Well, there's a ton of adoption books.
But
she
not
has
like
so
this.
She has so many adoption books that we read. So I mean,
But it's not about her.
Yeah, it's not about her. But there could be something about there could be something about adoption. There could be something about like mama getting married. Because there isn't anything about specifically same-sex marriage. So.
Because it's one thing when Mama has a new friend, but
Mama gets married.
What happens with Mama's new friends? That's the next chapter.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I don't know.
I'll be waiting for the next book.
Yeah.
Right.
Mama has
Felicia likes reading these. There's lots of pictures.
I mean, I don't have to worry about, oh God, chapter 2. Now I have to remember what happened in chapter 1.
But she
has to sit there with the dictionary.
She likes that there's a book written about her, and she's pretty tickled about it.
I'm gonna need the next book to be about us.
Okay.
I was serious. Mama was on with somebody.
Okay.
Let me know when that comes out. I will sell the house down. I will sell them at everywhere.
You need to come up with a whole series.
Well, yeah.
Of Mama's adventures.
But she's doing them as her daughter grows up.
Whatever, just screw that, and just you have to have a whole series of Mama's adventures and lesbianhood.
I know, but I need to sell more of these books to afford to make books.
Well, there you go. So, if
I'm making a series of books, I need to sell some books because these are
y'all buy these books.
These are
buy them for your friends, and they make great Christmas presents because.
Laura spoke up real quick. She said,
I mean, let's be real. Let's talk about lesbian relationships. You meet somebody, 2 weeks later, you're married. 3 weeks later, you're not.
Can we get Mama's new friend and the U-Haul?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Sure.
There you go.
Mama's new friend hires a U-Haul, right?
There, see, that's the next one. That's the next one.
And Mama's, how the hell did she get in here? New friend?
Mama's new friend moves out.
Right.
I mean, look at it.
Mama's new friend takes all the silverware. Mama's new friend takes a dog. So it's
Mama hides from Daddy with her new friend.
Right. There's all sorts of things you can do.
I mean, have you met our community? There's a little story.
Yeah, we could do a whole.
And then your daughter would be like, "Mama, what's been going on?"
Right. And you can expand on the mistake that we thought, and you can have Mama having multiple new friends.
Yeah. Oh, Mama.
Or Mama's new
joins
friends.
Craigslist.
Right. Mama.
I love it.
Yes.
Mama gets a new account on Tinder.
Wait, just to clarify, not this Mama. Not this Mama. I want that to be very clear. Not this Mama.
We made up a Mama that's not in existence.
Mama's adventures on Tinder.
Yeah.
Did she swipe left or did she swipe right?
That one time Mama made a mistake and got on Grindr.
And all she saw was torso.
So there's all sorts of things. See, look at that. But y'all need to buy this so that, we can have these books.
Yeah, I can't.
That would be bestsellers for sure.
I can't
Masquerading
make
as
the
children's
series
books.
unless I sell some of these. So that's the only problem.
Perfect.
Hi, Charity.
So, again, if anybody
has...
has...
This is on Amazon, Google...
all the things. Goodreads, everything. And it really is a...
you can recommend it on Goodreads.
Yeah, you can
Please recommend it on Goodreads. Yeah. I will do that on my
account. But it's a good thing for... We all know that...
Hi, Anish.
Life happens, and couples don't always stay together, and... shit like that, and
or even if you're not together, if you're meeting someone new, or you know someone that's meeting someone new, and they have a child, this is a great book for them to introduce.
Absolutely,
introduce the new partner to a child.
Absolutely, and we'll make sure that we post all the links and things. Because
we don't want it to get lost. Because I just thought of a title.
Oh, you got another title? Okay, great.
What's this one?
Mama posts on Lost Encounters to find her new friend.
Oh, that's good.
I don't even know what that is.
It's on
Craigslist.
Oh.
We need to sign
Oh, God.
No, we don't. don't
Tinder.
No,
Oh.
no.
We gonna get her.
No,
She's
I'm
fine.
seeing somebody. No.
Mama's kind of a hoe.
No, not this
Not
mama.
this
No,
mama. Not this mama. No.
No, not this
The mama we created.
That mama.
She's wild and free.
That crazy mama, yeah. She's crazy.
That's the one. Oh my God, that's when you create the children's books that aren't really for children.
Well,
Like,
there's
what
already
the hell?
YouTube videos that are for children, but they aren't for children.
Who posted the one with the children's book about the balls?
The what?
I did not see this.
I can't remember
You
who
need to
posted
find
it.
it and send it to me.
I can't remember who posted it. Somebody posted it, and it was like, they're like, is this really a children's book? And it's about these kids that are like, one kid comes over and goes, do you want to play with my balls? And they're like, oh wow, your balls are so big, I can't even fit them in my mouth.
I've heard of
It's
that.
like-
I've heard of it.
But it's like, it's in this sort of a format. So it's like,
no, it's not.
Yeah.
yes, it is. I'm going to have to find it.
Yeah.
It totally is. It's like,
You're like, holy shit! I thought I was buying a book for my kid.
let's see what happens when I Google this. Let's see what happens. Do you want
Are you gonna put what's in the book on there?
to
Oh God,
play?
Lord,
Play.
don't look.
I don't want to see what pops
You
up.
might have a new
Here you
friend.
go. Do you want to play with my balls?
That.
Yeah, look, it's a kid's book.
Let me see this. Is it on PornTube?
Nope.
Nope. Right there.
There.
eBay.
Oh, it's on eBay. Well, where'd you go?
Whoops.
Come back.
It's opening the eBay app.
Yeah.
It wants you to buy it. It said you.
There
want...
it is.
There.
Right there.
Do you want to play with my balls?
And he has them in his mouth.
That's after somebody says that the balls are too big. They can't even fit in his mouth.
Why?
Yeah, look. See, there's like screenshots of some of these.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Hey, Louie, do you want to play with my balls? Sure, Chuck. I can hold your ball sack so it won't drag on the ground. My mom's always yelling, Louie, get those balls out of your mouth before you choke.
Those balls.
Oh my God. Lou?
Yeah.
Oh. Louis is gonna.
So
have
I
his own
see a whole
series.
series of Mama's books.
If this brand doesn't move along, we might have to come along and move Mama along for
And
you.
then this one says, yeah, when I play with Sally, I always end up with blue balls because Sally takes all the other balls.
Wow.
Wow, your balls are so big I can't even fit them in my mouth.
I can't imagine a kid reading this.
I don't think it's... the night Dad went to jail.
Is that a book?
Yeah.
Look at the sad bunny!
Aw, sad
Oh,
bunny.
that's amazing. Dexter's first suspension.
Dexter's first suspension.
This is fantastic. This is the best thing ever.
I'm
I think
done.
I need
That
all of
is-
these.
Just
Tires and
When-
testicles.
When children's books gone bad.
Susie likes to look at balls.
Oh my gosh.
Wait,
Amazing.
Susie got her own book?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Damn! See,
We need to add Mama's.
Oh, there's another one. Do you want to play with my beaver?
Oh.
And the big black cock.
Somebody's having too much fun with these books.
See?
they're probably selling them too.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Put Tony's
I'm
nuts in your
changing the
mouth.
title. It
Brenda's
doesn't even have to relate to this.
Brenda's beaver needs a barber.
Speaking of that, we're sponsored by the Burly Barber.
Yeah.
And,
Spank the monkey lends a hand.
I'm not sponsored by the Spanking Monkey Company.
The muffin muncher.
Oh.
There's a market for this.
There is. Oh my gosh.
But we'd have to wait until she gets older. The child gets older.
Nobody likes a cock block.
Well, I'm so sorry.
Who cares about elderly people?
Oh God.
I apparently wrote this book in the wrong category.
Yeah, see? Yeah, you're missing out. There
I'm
is
totally missing out.
Yeah.
This is.
Hide
Yeah.
your wife. Hide your kids.
Dick, what did you lick?
Wait, what? Let me see this. I don't believe you. It's the same kid?
No, it's different.
Oh, that's an older book.
Yeah.
That one's been around for a while.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
But back in the day, they didn't call that.
Oh.
This is- sounds even off. I have diabetes. A children's book about juvenile diabetes, but I have diabetes.
Oh, that's sad.
Why is she standing out there by herself?
I don't know.
You don't get diabetes and then you're just all alone.
Bedtime stories for children you hate.
Oh no, that's awful.
So if you see that in your babysitter's bag.
Oh, my friends are dead. It's a dinosaur.
I've seen that book. I've seen that book.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
That's awful.
Oh, this is about a dog getting neutered. It's called Goodbye Testicles.
Oh.
We're ruining children all over. I
It's
hope you're not
amazing.
and watching this at all.
This is fantastic.
Because this has turned for the worst.
See, you need it. There's a market for it. Get
Market.
mama going.
Laura, even if you don't do that,
Yeah.
we have Freddy and Felicia. Felicia's Wild Adventures.
Yeah, we could do that.
Right?
We could do
There's
that,
all sorts of things.
Freddy's a
Can we
freak.
turn ourselves into like
Freddy's
book
freak.
characters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We should totally do that.
I'm trying to get her on board, but she's not buying this.
I can do that. I can do it.
Hey,
Trying to-
Roxy!
Trying to turn us into storybook characters.
Oh my god. We could totally do that. We could teach lessons to kids.
Just the. Ooh.
Freddy's tip.
Oh. Illustrated by.
Oh my god. That'd
Laura, thanks for the laugh.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
me.
the brainstorming. I'm glad we got somewhere, and that you'll.
I know, Roxy, you never watched
It
What
was
the hell?
4 weeks ago that I saw you. You keep a calendar. These things.
What the hell?
Just kidding. She knows I'm kidding.
Oh.
Oh wow, we didn't write much for the show.
No, we got to do this.
Upcoming events.
Oh yeah, there's that. I forgot about that.
So, tomorrow we have bingo at the Cash.
Come out. It's fun and it's free.
Yes, and you get to see us. Not sure why this is a
But
problem.
besides that, and
I mean,
maybe in spite of
Roxy,
that,
you can come see us at the Cash tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And then, on Saturday, which way am I going?
Speed dating.
We have speed dating.
I'm so bummed I'm not going to be there for this. Like,
And
I would love
I
to
got
have
my
been there.
messages from Teddy too, and other people that are like, "Why this weekend?" I'm like,
I just wanted to go
I
just
didn't
to
plan
watch
it.
I know. I'm so mad. I was like, damn it, Jen! Urgh!
And for those that are still hanging on for my matchmaker update, matchmaker plans are coming. We just have to work with people's schedules.
Can we do that again? But I want to be involved this time.
Yes. But you would not have the patience to deal with said schedulings of
No, I'd be
people's
fine.
schedules.
Okay,
I'll
well.
explain to you after. So yes, come out on Saturday. Don't leave me hanging.
So do that on Saturday. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the country,
where are you
where
going?
it's going to be really fucking cold.
At least your makeup won't move.
Right, it'll just freeze to my face. God. Saturday night, myself, Teddy, Michael. What the fuck?
Are you picking up my? What?
Myself, Teddy, Michael, Brooklyn Diaz, and Romeo White are going to be in Toledo,
Is just
Ohio.
DeJour gonna be there too?
I don't know.
I saw her
I have no
post
idea.
something about that.
We're going to be at McCune's Other Side Bistro for the Heartland EOI, I don't know what the hell they're calling it, show
Extravaganza,
things, whatever
review.
it is. Review show or something. Whatever. Something.
Just show
Saturday
up.
night,
Just
there.
show up.
McCune's Other Side Bistro in Toledo. And then Sunday night, I can actually officially say that I am judging the Heartland EOI competition. And I'm really excited because I scare people.
What he means is that he gets to judge people on paper and be.
Oh, right. This is true. I get to officially judge instead of just judging anyway. So I'm super excited about that. And then Monday night, we're going to be in Dayton, and we're going to be performing at Mass.
Okay, fully booked.
Right?
Okay.
Fuck. And then Tuesday, what the fuck? Tuesday, we fly home. So, if
And
you're
then
in
Wednesday,
Ohio...
you're just gonna sit here and be.
A zombie.
Yes. Don't come back sick.
Well, Tuesday night...
Every time you travel, you come back sick, or you are
Tuesday
sick
night,
when you travel.
I come back, my flight lands at 4 something.
In
Tuesday,
the morning?
No, in the afternoon.
Mm.
And Tuesday night, I'm going to be at BS West, so...
You gonna be a tired motherfucker.
Lord, I took Wednesday off. So I can sleep a little bit. because
then you'll be good for the show then.
We'll see.
Okay.
So yeah. If you are in Ohio or the surrounding areas, come out either to Toledo or Dayton or something like that. Make the drive because you'll get to see me. Let's see. Next spotlight is March 24th. Make sure you put that on your calendars. We've got Cat Bingo happening at La Gatara on February 16th, which we're super excited about that.
When?
I don't know.
This week? Or
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I have no idea. So all sorts of fun stuff.
Can I get to my messages from here?
I don't know.
Oh,
anything
so
else
weird.
happening?
Yes, I have something in here.
Between now and next Wednesday?
Yes. If I could read all this, I would. Read the first part. The
Desperado Film Festival is happening on February 11th, which is Sunday. It's happening at the Paradise Valley Community.
9th through the 11th. I can see.
Oh, it's the 9th through the 11th. I'm sorry. It's Friday the 9th through Sunday the 11th. It's happening at the Paradise Valley Community College Center for Performing Arts at 32nd Street in Union Hills. It's a non-profit thing, but they always have really awesome independent films and things. So go out.
If anything, go to their page, and they have a list of all the movies that are being shown. And I'm trying to work my way to be there.
I won't be here. I'll be in Ohio.
So that I can talk to some of the people in those movies that are scheduled to be here.
Mm-hmm. But it's always a good festival. They've always got some cool stuff.
You guys are busy.
So definitely go and check that out this weekend as well if you happen to be here. But
just getting the tears out ahead of time because like when you're busy, you start crying. You're like, oh
God. So yeah, I think that's about it. What have you got going on? Anything else? Is that it?
Next week. Who is next week?
I have no idea. Somebody.
I'll tell you in a second. Do you have anything going on? Are you gonna be anywhere?
No.
You're not gonna be selling those books everywhere?
No, just online.
Just online. Where can they find that?
mamasnewfriendbook.com.
Awesome.
mamasnewfriendbook.com.
And you can download it for Kindle.
And download it on Kindle, yeah.
Because the kids are sophisticated these days. They've got things
Seriously.
on.
Seriously.
Next week we have Ruby Moore.
Oh, okay.
Ruby Moore, yes.
Sweet. All right then.
And then I want to thank our sponsors. Gabe King Photography. You can find him at GabeKingPhotography.com. And I'm not wearing a wig, but we are sponsored by Wigs of a Kind.
We're lucky she's wearing anything.
I barely made this happen. Ask Laura, she witnessed it. WigsOfAkind.com. Get your weaves, your wigs, all of it. Burley Barber. I'm supposed to give away a thing, but I didn't really see that many people on the chat. So,
maybe we'll shoot for next week.
Yeah, next week I'll do that. Go to the Burley Barber. They actually have a pretty nice website. I didn't realize they had a website.
And if you come to bingo, you actually have a chance to win a gift certificate to the Burley Barber. So
full service.
Right? They do everything. They do men, women, masculine people, feminine people, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Non-binary people. You keep forgetting the non-binary people. I read this whole huge article about non-binary people. It was kind of confusing, but it was like more of like a rage typewritten.
Yeah, I have.
Still trying to figure out how I feel about the person that wrote it. Anyway, we will see you next week, and thank you, Laura, again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This has been cute, and if you see any of our books, just know that you can't read them to your children.
I mean, you could.
I mean, you can read this one.
Know.
This one
you read to your kids.
This one can be read to kids.
Yeah.
If you see Felicia Minor and Freddy Prince Charming wrote a book, no.
I mean,
it depends on how old the kids are. I mean, if
we don't know your life, whatever.
If the kids pick up the book and we don't know about it, hands off.
All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Aloha.